In a recent survey of 2,000 Americans, almost 75% of respondents now believe that natural remedies, including things like cannabis and hemp products, are safer overall than prescription medications. Surprised by this? 3/4 believe that a
They
natural
must be
remedy...
watching the doctors.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either.
I'm not surprised.
And the reason is that I think there is a bit of mistrust out there when it comes to more formal pharmaceutical treatments. And I think people are also being made more aware of alternative therapies.
It just struck me this week in my office, post-op patients that told me, I think 3 or 4, no, I don't want any opiates. I don't want any narcotics.
Good for them.
Good for them. They said, I can work through this pain. If necessary, I'm going to take extra strength acetaminophen, and that's enough. The other area where I'm seeing less and less is sleep aids, sleep medications. Patients, and myself included, I'm not using any sleep aids. If I want something to help me, there's other ways to deal with that. So I think we are seeing a trend, especially in those two areas, sleep medications, pain medications.
And then just looking at patients who want to take a lot of natural supplements and things, sometimes people still believe that if something says natural, that automatically means it's safe. If they say, oh, it's natural, it's over the counter, so clearly there can't be any long-term consequences or, physical ramifications of taking this. And that's not always the case. There can be significant side effects from some of these natural supplements, and they can also interact with medications that your doctor prescribes you if you're taking other medicines.
And that's one of the problems right now in the CBD industry, because do I think there's a ton of hope and promise for CBD? Absolutely. But when you buy nowadays a CBD product, you have no idea what's in it. And there are so many people out there that are selling snake oil, or they're telling you that, hey, this is 100% natural, but it may not be. I think that's why I caution people a little bit. If pharmaceuticals have one thing going for them, they go through clinical trials. Safety is the very first phase 1 of any trial. It's safety first. And natural remedies, again, I believe in some of them, but by and large, we just don't have the same data. Right. So that's where you have to be a little bit careful.
And I think the trend, probably the single system that gets infected, inflamed is your upper respiratory tract, ear, nose, and throat, that now I think the trend, and you see it amongst ENT doctors, that they're less likely to prescribe an antibiotic, because studies show that if you just treat the symptoms with rest, with steam, and just cleaning the airways with saline rinses, that the course is going to run the same as if you used antibiotics.
Maybe, and this is where I will flip the script. For some people, it may end up being worse. So if you need an antibiotic, by all means, if you need one for a bacterial infection, then that can be life-saving. But if you're taking an antibiotic for an upper viral respiratory infection, what happens? That antibiotic gets into your gut, destroys a lot of your good bacteria. Those bacteria are absolutely an essential part of your immune response, decreasing inflammation in your body. That's why sometimes you'll see people, they'll take an antibiotic, and then they end up taking another antibiotic, and then all of a sudden they've taken 5, 6 different antibiotics, and they just can't get out of it. And it's because your body's immune system, which is dependent upon good bacteria, your own microbiome, and all these wonderful interactions that happen, these bacteria produce these short-chain fatty acids that inspire your immune system to do its job and all these other things. And once you destroy that internal working mechanism, that's when you start going down this path of poor health.